Hey everybody, we're about 24 hours into the new expansion, a little more than that, and yesterday we played around with Vi, and today we want to get a little bit more acquainted with a spy deck. Spies, of course, are something that people have been clamoring for a long time. They were really established in beta Gwent, and they kind of lost their way. There are new, buffs and cards that came out with the Way of the Witcher yesterday that have given it a little bit more life and made it a little bit more viable. Here is something that I played today on stream and had a lot of success with. Same thing as always, I'll go through the cards and then give you the basic strategy with this as well. All right, so we're using the Imposter ability. The Imposter ability, of course, 15 provisions, lock an enemy unit, spawn a base copy, add 2 to it. Crystal Skull is the stratagem, again a buff, and the Veil is most important, mainly because we have units that are going to be using orders in that round. All right, so let's go through it. Number 1, Mage Infiltrator. This is a spy disloyal unit. We have this in the deck, again, because in order to use Brathens, you need to have these spies in the deck in order to have them spawn or created by Brathens later. So one of each of the bronze disloyal units is what we have going for us here. So that's always a lovely thing to have. And furthermore, beyond that, let's continue onward. 1 emissary, again, same thing. 1 bronze of each, 1 copy of each bronze spy. Van Morlaghem Hunter. Now this is an aristocrat, and it's just a very versatile 4 provision card. Lock or bleed. And if there's nothing to lock, at least you can get a little bit of bleeding to go with it. But lock is going to be important in this as well. Nausicaa Sergeant got a nice buff, a little provision buff as well. A 4/4, great engine piece. Now with things like Brathens, with things, for instance, Brathens onto a card such as the Duchess Informant onto another unit that has a deploy can really make a lot of use from the Nausicaa Sergeant. It's glad to see that this is sort of circled back into being a playable bronze card for Nilfgaard. Nilfgaard, of course, suffering when it comes to bronzes and point generation off of bronzes. Nausicaa Sergeant definitely fits that rule. All right, 2 times Duchess Informant. This is the best, in my opinion, spy for multiple reasons. Number 1 is because it allows you to copy high-value bronzes from your opponent, especially out of, like, for instance, Skellige or, you name it. It's a fantastic, fantastic card, especially when you're playing and manage to really hit a home run, such as copying a squirrel and really ruining a Lippy player's day. That happened, and it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. So 2 times this of the Duchess Informant. Now here's the new card, Seditious Aristocrats. It's an aristocrat, a human, an agent, fantastic, awesome, cool. Now this is deploy boost self by 1 for every spying enemy unit. So this is going to hit the board, and depending on how many eyeballs you got on the other side, it's going to boost by that. But also, it's also going to benefit from the amount of eyeballs that you're going to play afterwards. So there's no wrong time to play this necessarily. Obviously, you want to play it so that it's at least boosted up enough that it can dodge some removal. But this could come in late, and it could come in early. It's proactive, or it's also a little bit of points later on. An agent tag as well cycles up nicely with Usurper, which we have over here. And notice, no Masquerade Ball. Amazing, right? Incredible. All right, we'll get to that later. Mage Torturer. This is just 1 card. Give an enemy unit spying. Veil, Assimilate. Now, Veil and Assimilate are nice little taglines. Veil means you can't lock it, you can't bleed it. Great. Assimilate is cool because we're going to be creating a lot of units based on things like Coup De Gras, based on things like Duchess Informant, etc. Assimilate is actually going to pop off and be fair game. In the 5 spot, I was playing around with this or the Armored Cavalry for lock, but I actually settled on this and enjoyed this. Also, give a unit spying. This gives an extra boost to your aristocrat. It also gives a boost or an extra charge to your Impera Enforcers. Not to mention, if you need to just give a tag to a unit for your Vincent Van Morlaghem to kill, then that's a fantastic little piece as well. Impera Enforcers. Okay, these got a little bit of a buff. I really, really wish that these had armor. They do not have armor. I really, really wish that these had armor. They're still a little bit vulnerable to the opponent's removal. Now, it depends on the meta. If it's a greedy meta, these are going to get a lot better. But if it's a control meta, these kind of get left in the cold. But that's just the way she goes. But the Impera Enforcer now getting Zeal. Damage unit by 1, charge 1 whenever you play an enemy spying unit. Or an enemy unit gets spying, gain a charge. Lots of spying, to be given, lots of spies to be placed, this thing can pop off. And the fact that it's just one ping of damage allows you to really pick and choose what you want to kill, what you want to steal, etc. I've got 2 times Ard Fine Tortoise. This is purely a tempo play. Nilfgaard struggles to generate points, so what we do is let's just slam down 7 points with 2 points of armor. It's just the way she goes. This is the way, as they say in Mandalore. So exposed, obviously, there's a little downside here, but for the most part, you'll get your worth in this for this card. It's also a good card to just drop on a dry pass to pay the toll to get to round 3. Amnesty. You can hit some home runs with Amnesty. I wish I could fit 2. I just couldn't find a way to fit it. But Amnesty onto a boat, Amnesty onto a Cat Witcher, Amnesty on so many things. This is a phenomenal card. Not to mention disrupting, strategies that like to play out of the graveyard. Amnesty is a great tactic, and we do have Devotion. We're only Nilfgaard in this list, so Conspiracy will always pop off. All right, what else we got here? Roderick, an aristocrat. This is basically a tutor and also a good target to go ahead and find with your Coup De Gras. And Roderick of I'm not even going to try, but a spy as well. Very good card to have in here. Vanamar. Vanamar plays well with your leader ability. Lock with your leader ability, follow up with Vanamar to kill what you lock. This has come in clutch. Great tempo play if you want to win on even in round 1, but I suggest that this is something that you really want to locate and identify what your opponent's big card is. If you can get access to it, lock it, kill it, get your own. It's a great, great card. Fergus. Fergus Var Emrys is 7 for 7, good translation, provision to strength, but also deploy giving an enemy unit spying, devotion 3 enemy unit spying. You can do the math on this. Give a lot of you things spying. This will boost your aristocrats. Where are they? The seditious aristocrats. It'll also give a lot of charges to your Imperial enforcers. If you can get this to pop off when you have everything working well, it is a massive tempo play. Also giving something spying allows you to coup de grace it and go ahead and copy it. So that is there as well. Fion is pretty much for the sense that, protecting your important units like your Imperial enforcers is going to be difficult. But being able to go ahead and hit Fion on the board, and if he sticks, you can start plopping down your Imperial enforcers, and at least they'll be protected beyond that. So that's not bad as well. We've got Coup de Gras. Coup de Gras is great echo. You can pop this off on any of your bronze spies, but you also can go ahead and add spying to a unit that your opponent plays that you might want to have. So keep that in mind. It's echo, so feel free to play it in round 1 when you're pushing, because you'll get it back. All right. Yennefer's Invocation. Is there any other cleaner removal in a devotion list than this? Just pick it up, play it later. This plays off very well when you're stealing something and playing it immediately with the boost by Joaquin. Excuse me. Because of the fact that it just goes right on top of your list, you can guarantee what your Joaquin's going to pick up. And if you pick up something big from your opponent, such as, an oak, you can replay that oak and feel like an absolute champ. There, that is Vincent Van Morlaghem. Now, Vincent Van Morlaghem without Masquerade Ball might be a little bit more difficult to pull off, but is it really? Everyone these days has a shield, a veil, there's defenders all over the place, there's bleeding, there's locks, there's all kind. Vincent Van Morlaghem has never whiffed for me in this list. It has always found a target, either clean and clear, deploy, kill, something that has shield, something that has veil, defender, you name it. You're going to have a good time with this card. This is an auto-include, I feel, because it can kill so many important things out there. Also, Leo, here he is. Everyone was speculating that Leo Bonhart was going to have his day in the sun now that there's Witchers all over the place, and boy, is that not wrong. I initially had Razor Ramon in this deck to copy my soldiers. Then I was having trouble finding soldiers and getting bricked a lot. I decided to switch that up for Leo. More control, more tall punish, as well as just killing Witchers. There are Witchers everywhere, so you are going to find some value with this, oftentimes a lot of value with this. Brathan's got to change, a little less provisions, a little more strength, but now you have to create a disloyal unit from your starting deck. We've got all 3 in here, so you're going to find what you need. Brathan's also has Assimilate, so if you play this, play the Duchess Informant, clone something, this goes straight up to 6. So you're going to get a lot of value, a lot of reach with this card, and it's so versatile. A little bit of a Swiss Army knife when it comes to what you need to do. You need to boost your Impair Enforcer, spawn an Emissary. You need to kill a few things, Mage Infiltrator. Do you need to go ahead and copy something awesome like a Cat Witcher? Go do it. You can have more Cat Witchers than your opponent. It has happened. Joachim de Wet, we expect, we spoke about this earlier. This pairs off nicely with the Yennefer's Invocation, guaranteeing what you're going to pick up, but also it's just a nice card because you'll be able to pull out what you have. Now, the cool thing about this is a lot of the bronzes in this deck are disloyal, so you should probably know more or less. You know, you'll have a 1 in 4 or a 1 in 3 chance of getting something that you want out of this late. It's not so much a crapshoot as you might think it is, but again, it's just tempo. It's good. You can pop Coup De Gras off of it, bounce Coup De Gras off of it, and you'll have a good time with that. Finally, Usurper Officer. You are going to need something to not only put spies on the other side, which will help your Impair Enforcers, it'll help your aristocrats, but also for tempo, 12 points. Similarly, it has Veil as well. You've got Agents, which will boost it as well. And yeah, it just pops off real nicely. Now, again, I've been struggling with trying to make a deck that doesn't lean on Masquerade Ball in order to win rounds. This deck has beaten, it has very soundly beaten Movement Scoia'tael. It has beaten Vi decks when it draws fairly well and has won convincingly against them. It has also beaten a flurry of other decks, and this does not rely on Masquerade Ball. Without Masquerade Ball, they're pretty much locking up a lot of provisions. You're allowed to spread those provisions and really improve your top end and have things like Leo and have things like Fionn and other, have a better bronze package as well. This deck has been very well for me. I'm going to go ahead and put my money where my mouth is and put the game where this beat Vi. I'm going to put that game right after this video ends so you can watch and see for yourself just how this deck popped off. Now, the way to play this more or less is, standard setup. You want to be able to sort of pair up your enforcers. Don't necessarily feel like you have to play enforcers early or save them for late. If you have a nice spy set, you can drop an enforcer and then pop it off that way. Nausicaa Sergeant is a great way to play proactively as well. It takes a little bit of practice because that's just how Nilfgaard operates. Nilfgaard oftentimes needs something to bounce off of in order to get value. They need a dance partner, so to speak. You need something to interact with. There are cards in here that allow you to play proactively, like Tortoise, like Nausicaa Sergeant, let's say. Even Impair Enforcer if you can protect it. So don't feel like you're going to be bricked, but just make sure that depending on the coin, if you're on blue coin, you want to be able to put something down that you're comfortable playing there and possibly losing and have a follow-up with. Again, hiding behind something like Fionn with your Impair Enforcers feels good. There's a lot of movement Scoia'tael over there, but you can definitely shut it down. Absolutely, for sure. Lock them out, crap on them. You'll have a good time, I promise you. All right, so this is the list. Again, all under Imposter's 15 provision umbrella. My name is Flake. You can catch me at twitch.tv/watchflake. I stream every day, so you can catch me there playing these lists, exactly these lists. And besides that, my friends, thank you so much. Be kind to one another, and here's that Vi game, so you can kind of put your doubts to rest that that deck is just untouchable.